Hey, what's up? I'm Technologics, and today we're looking at the prehistoric iPhone 4 running iOS 7. How does it hold up in 2017? First off, let me just say that this is my 4th review on this phone, and that I've been doing these since 2014. It's kinda like tradition. I did say in my last video that I probably wasn't going to do another one, but I really like this phone, so I'm going to do another one. But without further ado, let's get right into this. So the iPhone 4 was released in 2010 and was groundbreaking at the time. The design was spectacular then and is spectacular now, with a glass back as well as the front giving it a sleek, polished feel. The only downside to this is that the back does tend to crack, if you're not careful of course, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me. This has to be my personal favorite iPhone design ever, because honestly it just looks awesome. It is rumored that the iPhone 8 will also have a glass back, but that, of course, is unconfirmed. The phone is a little bit thick and heavy, especially compared to newer phones, but personally I don't mind too much. Also, there are 2 color options in either white or black. I personally prefer the black. I don't know why. I think it looks a little bit nicer in my opinion, but they're both great, so yeah. The iPhone 4 has a 3.5-inch Retina display with a resolution of 640 by 960. It might be small, but it looks great thanks to the high pixel density found in all phones starting with the 4. Everything on the phone, despite the not great resolution, will look very clear and crisp. There shouldn't be any blurry text or anything like that. So when it comes to the display, the biggest issue with most people is the size. Not everyone's gonna like having to deal with a smaller phone, and I really can't blame them. Going back to it after the 4.7-inch screen of the iPhone 6 was a bit painful, but I did get used to it. It is a bit smaller than the iPhone 5, but not by too much. Honestly though, if you don't mind small screens or even prefer them, then you'll probably be fine with this. It definitely fits in my hand much better than my newer iPhone, and with it I can touch all 4 corners of the screen with much more ease than a bigger phone. The camera is pretty good considering the phone's age, but pretty bad by today's standards. It has 5 megapixels and can film at 720p. Again, good for 2010, bad for 2017. I mean, I take some video and photos, as you can see here, and it isn't unbearable. The video is not great, but, in good lighting conditions, so outdoors usually, you might not even notice that it's, this old, but it's not going to compete with pretty much any newer phone, so, don't expect too much from it. There are 3 storage options for the iPhone 4, 32, 16, or 8 gigabytes. I'd recommend getting the 16 as the 8 is really darn small, and if you do want to take photos on it or maybe download music, 16 is a much better buy for your buck. 32 might be a bit overkill for a phone like this, but if you need the extra space, then go for it. I'm going to blast through the more boring specs on this phone, and then we'll get straight to the actual performance. It contains Apple's A4 processor with half a gig of RAM, meaning that it's quite outdated. It has a 1420 mAh battery, which is definitely not anything special, and due to the age, iOS 7 isn't optimized the best when it comes to battery usage. So, you can probably get a full day out of it from light usage to moderate. Frequent usage, you definitely want to keep a charger close by. That's from my experience, of course. All phones are going to vary when it comes to battery life depending on how much they've been used in the past, especially when you've got like a close to 7-year-old phone like this. So performance, how does it actually hold up in 2017? Well, not really well. Basic tasks like music are okay, but when it comes to internet browsing or trying to install apps, it really starts to show its age. First off, it's stuck on iOS 7, which is a very inconvenient version of iOS to be stuck on, mostly due to app support. Nearly every app now requires iOS 8 or later, so you can't put them onto your device. Like here I'm trying to download YouTube and I can't. The iPhone 4 performs much better on iOS 6 than iOS 7. If you are looking into potentially buying one, try to find one still on the old firmware. It's worth it. It's pretty much impossible to downgrade to iOS 6 at this point, at least without tethering, and if you don't know what that is, that's fine, meaning that most are going to have to run iOS 7. iOS 7 is not fast, it is slow. It's better than it originally was thanks to iOS 7.1, I believe, but you're going to still find lag and slowdown, sometimes doing really basic things like switching pages or scrolling. It's an annoyance, but it is livable. It doesn't really ruin the experience. It's just not great for it. To quickly summarize here, most apps don't run, and those that do are often slow, making performance a bit of an issue. Battery life is mediocre. The display is small but pretty good. The design is beautiful, and you can definitely tell it comes from the Steve Jobs era. So how does it hold up in 2017? Not great. unfortunately. If you have to use it for your phone for a while, you probably could. Just expect to be frustrated unless you really want to just do the bare minimum, which is calling, texting, I guess, maybe checking email, just really basic stuff. As a music player, it can work, so if you want to use it as an iPod, that's not a bad idea. In fact, that's what I've been doing with my iPhone 4, and it's been pretty good. I really liked this phone, and it's kind of sad to see that it just really didn't hold up as well as some newer iPhones. Like if you look at the iPhone 4S, it's done quite a bit better. As awesome as this thing was by 2010 standards, today it doesn't even compare. But that's just my opinion. Some people it'll probably be good enough for. I get comments sometimes saying, you know, it's just a phone, why should it have to do all this crazy stuff? And you know what? If that works for you, then great. Comment what you think down below. I'm genuinely curious, and I read nearly every single comment. If you enjoyed this video at all, please like and consider subscribing for more content just like this. If you didn't like the video, then good for you. Hit that dislike button. Give me some emotional pain. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I guess I'll see you all next time.